Hey guys, this is Brian Johnson here, and I want to talk a little bit today about Google rankings and the supplemental index. So basically, what is the supplemental index? Well, the supplemental index basically is one of Google's indexes. They actually have a bunch of indexes depending on which search engine you're at. So if you go to Google and you type in, for instance, right now I've just typed in remove spyware. And I can tell you if you're in the top 10 on Google results for remove spyware, you're going to make money. Unless you've got a terrible landing page, or I should say you're going to get very highly sought after traffic, and how you handle the conversion in your landing pages is another video. But let's stay on target here and talk more about the supplemental index. So basically, when you search Google, the regular search engine, there's two indexes. There's the regular index, and there's what's called the supplemental index. Now, there's been a lot of talk about what exactly is the supplemental index, and why is it that some pages wind up in the supplemental index and other pages end up in the regular index. So actually, the supplemental index came about several years ago. And basically, if you go to Google and you use one of the search operators, which is site, and then your domain name, that search will bring up all the pages that Google has of your domain. So if I were to type in site, www.chef.com, that would bring up all the pages that Google had in its index for that domain. Now, I've actually checked that time and time again. That actually redirects to cooking.com, but I think you get the basic idea. If we did that same search with cooking.com, we would have, let me in fact just do that to give you an idea. So I'm going to type into Google site, www.cooking.com. Okay? So Google returns 375,000 results for that search. Now I'm just going to kind of scroll down, and I'm looking at all these results. So about the third one down is the Dutch oven, shop for small appliances, cookware, cutlery. The page is not in the supplemental index. Okay, that's basically what you want. When you create pages, you want to make sure they get in the regular index. And we'll talk about why in just a minute. So I'm going to the second page. And all the pages on the second page are still on the regular index. I'm on the third page. I'm going to go all the way up to the 12th page, which is basically results 112 through 120. And all these pages are in the regular index as well. I'll go to the 20th page, which is basically deep into the results. We're on the 200th result. And all these pages are still in the regular index. Now, let's go ahead and let's look at a newer site. So I'm going to pull up so I'm pulling up a domain I just recently launched. Okay, I launched it this summer in June, targeting Halloween, and it's a domain that targets the term pirate costume. It's got the word pirate and costume in the domain. It's a .net domain, and it shows Google shows 19 results, okay? So I'm scrolling down on the first page, and I see girl pirate costume, male pirate costume, women's pirate costume, sexy pirate costume. They're all great results. They all have my targeted keywords, and I'm ranking okay for a new domain. I get down to about the 10th result, and all of the pages on the first page are within the regular index, and really that's what we want. We don't want any pages going supplemental. So let's go to the second page, and then sure enough, on page 2, results 11 through 19, all those results are supplemental. Now, some of the things that affect the indexes and what makes it to the regular index and what doesn't make it to the index is Google looks at what type of content is on every single page. And the more different your content is page to page, the better chance you're going to have of getting it out of the supplemental index, or not going into the supplemental index and staying in the regular index. Other factors come into play for the supplemental index include how long the domain has been registered, how long it's been indexed and Google has known about the site, how much page rank the site has, how many inbound links. Now, when we start talking about inbound links, if this site starts to get inbound links from other sites, that's going to help it stay out of Supplemental. Better is going to be quality links. Like if I were able to get a link from DMOZ or maybe the Yahoo directory, that would even help me further to keep my pages out of the Supplemental index. Now, good links to get, but maybe not quite as good as the DMOZ, would be other websites about Halloween or costumes, or maybe websites about pirates, because all of these themes are related to one another, and Google has the ability to understand that. So, in other words, if I were able to get 100 links from some costume sites, some sites about pirates and the history of pirates, and then some links from Halloween websites, that would be great. And over time, probably what would happen is I would release new pages. They would not go in Supplemental, because Google would then begin to trust my site. And that's really what we're talking about today, is ranking in the trust rank. So some of the things we just talked about were inbound links and the age of the domain. So just how important is the age of a domain today? Well, as I mentioned a minute ago, I had the results up here for remove spyware. Now I'm hoping that these results will come up. It looks like they are. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to read you the top 10 results, and I'm going to give you the age of the domain that the result is from. So the first domain is tospyware.com, and that domain was registered and appeared online. I should say it appeared in the Wayback Machine, rather. It might have been online for a couple of years, but it appeared in the Wayback Machine in 2004, the spring of 2004. The second result, the domain was first appeared in 2001. The third result, again, is from 2001. So that's 2 or 3 domains that are 6 years old. So if you're just getting into spyware, how the heck do you compete with domains that are 6 and 7 years old? So we'll talk about that more in a minute here in another video. PC Hell, I've known about that domain for quite a while. It looks like this is actually, I think it was updated because it says July, or here we go, I'm sorry, that I was looking at it different. So PC Hell has been online since 98, so we're talking basically 9 to 10 years. The next result is 96, and that's Microsoft.com. And the next result is 2000, 2001, 2003, 2006. So the youngest domain is actually our first result, which was 2004. So to rank for remove spyware on Google, realistically, it's going to take at least a couple of years. And it's really about trust today. So it's important to remember some of the things we talked about in building your website and starting with a plan to maximize the pages that get in the regular index. And you want to have a plan. You just don't want to haphazardly be putting pages online. It doesn't mean you can't alter things and move forward, but it really does pay to have a plan of attack moving forward. And that's why I've kind of been focusing on these first videos for my website about keywords and site structure and what things are helpful. And in the next video here, I'm going to talk about some ways to maximize a brand new domain and some techniques that you can do to ensure that the pages you want to get in the regular index do that. So let's stay tuned for that next video.